So I thought I should probably do an update on the Melodee Buzzard case, because honestly the case just gets stranger and stranger. So it's been a while since I did my first video on this case, and there's definitely been a little bit happening in the meantime. So first of all, an update from a few days ago, which I apologise, I was so swamped I didn't get to, is that they did actually go in and do a search of Ashley Buzzard's house. So I'm just going to read the press release first from detectives. Sheriff's detectives are sharing an update on their investigation into missing at-risk 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. On Thursday, October 30th, Sheriff's detectives along with the FBI served follow-up search warrants at the home of Ashley and Melodee Buzzard in the 500 block of Mars Avenue, as well as a storage locker and the rental car that Melodee was last seen in. In anticipation of the need for access to the residence during the search for an extended time, detectives escorted Ashley to an alternative location that would not interfere with their ability to conduct a thorough search. The case remains a missing person investigation. There have been no arrests made in this case. So there was a bit of a hoo-ha over this the other day, and people thought that Ashley had been arrested. I would imagine that she was probably taken in and questioned, but I think they are going softly with her because of mental health issues. And also, of course, because there is a very, very good chance that Melodee is still alive somewhere. And that means that time is of the essence. The longer that she is missing, the greater the risk for her. So they need to tread carefully around Ashley Buzzard, because if she has mental health issues and she just completely shuts down, that's going to make it so much harder for them to find Melodee. So I should probably backtrack just a little bit for anyone who is not familiar with the case. Melodee Buzzard is 9. The photo that you see on the left-hand side is about 3 years old. So there aren't any current photos of Melodee other than surveillance images. The image on the right is a surveillance image from the rental car location where her mother, Ashley, rented a car on the 7th of October. Melodee hasn't been seen for quite some time. She was homeschooled. She was re-enrolled in her school in September, I think, from memory. But there were no assignments handed in, essentially. So they started investigating her absence around October the 14th. And having been unable to locate Melodee, they reported her as missing. So this was the school that acted on her absence. So the investigation began on the 14th of October because of her absence from school. And according to the county sheriff's office, Ashley has not been able to give any verifiable explanation for Melodee's absence, meaning essentially she's still being uncooperative. So she's not giving them any idea of Melodee's location or if Melodee is safe, well, any of those things. Now we have confirmation that she left California on the 7th of October driving a rental car, which was a Chevy Malibu 2024, and it was white. It did have California plates, but apparently she changed the plates at some point in time. And I'll talk more on that after I play this news piece.
Begin tonight with new information on the search for missing 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard of Vandenburg Village. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office says Melodee's mother, Ashley Buzzard, took her daughter on a road trip to Nebraska on October 7th in a rented white Chevrolet Malibu. When Ashley returned home, Melodee was no longer with her. Investigators say the little girl was last seen on surveillance video on October 9th near the Colorado-Utah border. Detectives also believe Ashley changed the car's license plate at some point during the trip to avoid detection. The sheriff's office is focusing on the time between October 9th and 10th and is asking anyone with information to call 805-681-4150.
So I'll share the map in a minute that has been put out by the sheriff's office. But what's really interesting is that according to the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, they travelled all the way to Nebraska, but Melodee was still with Ashley for some of the return trip. So why she travelled all the way to Nebraska is a bit of a mystery. They're saying that her return trip included Kansas, and I'll go through some of the other locations shortly. But it is such an odd case. So in terms of the switched license plate, what they're saying is that on the 8th of October, she began using a New York license plate on the vehicle, and it didn't belong to the vehicle and it wasn't registered to her. And they believe that she did so to avoid detection. Now, they haven't clarified whether it was switched and it should have belonged to another vehicle or if it was actually a fake plate. So I'm not sure what the deal is there, but it wasn't the plate that belonged on the vehicle. And yet when she returned the vehicle to the rental agency, it had its proper plate on. So at some point in time, she switched the plate back over. Now, we haven't seen the actual surveillance from 9th of October, but what they were saying there in that news article is that they have confirmed that Melodee was last seen via video surveillance on October the 9th near the Colorado-Utah border. And that was on the return trip. So I don't know if this woman was having some sort of psychotic episode, but something is really wrong here and really off. I mean, you just look at this surveillance image, and this is from the rental car. Why was Melodee walking so far behind her mother? It's almost like there's a reluctance there, or there's some sort of fractured relationship. You would expect to see her walking beside her mother, not coming up behind. And she doesn't look like she's overly happy in that image. They've confirmed that Ashley and Melodee were both wearing wigs. She had Melodee wearing that hoodie that covered her very thoroughly. So what the heck is going on here? Now, it's been reported that the surveillance images are from the rental car dealership. I'm not sure if they are saying that both these images are from the rental car dealership. We know the one on the right definitely is. That's the first one that was released. The one on the left, whether that is from the surveillance from October 9th on the border of Colorado and Utah, or it's a different shot from the rental company, they haven't really clarified that. So they've released a list of the areas that they believe that Ashley and Melodee travelled through. Presumably this comes from CCTV footage of the vehicle. So they've said Green River, Utah, Panguitch, Utah, sorry if I've said that wrong, Northwest Arizona, Primm, Nevada, and Rancho Cucamonga, California. So they're places that they have listed as places they've travelled through, or the places that the car travelled through. So they haven't said if Melodee was in the vehicle for all those locations, but they have clearly identified the vehicle in those locations. So my question is, what the heck is going on here? Is this something that Ashley has done willingly? Is this something that she's been tricked into doing or coerced into doing? And why? I mean, if Ashley has these mental health problems, could this be something that's been triggered by all the stuff that's been going on with ICE lately? Or is it something else entirely? Is it maybe some sort of mental breakdown and someone's taken advantage of that and offered to look after Melodee? Because it seems like this has been so elaborately planned. And I can't help thinking that something that has been so elaborately planned may have connections with traffic. I mean, it sounds like she's gone as far as Nebraska to basically make it really hard to figure out where Melodee is. She's gone further than whatever the intended destination was to obscure where that location is. She's changed the plates on the vehicle. She's hired a fairly decent vehicle. Now, I don't know if it's the same in the United States, but in Australia, if you are going to hire a larger vehicle, you pay a larger price. I'm guessing that a Chevy Malibu is probably maybe a luxury vehicle. Let me know, I'm Australian, we don't have them here. In which case, it would have been more expensive to hire. I don't know if it's the same in America, but you pay excess kilometres if you go over a particular distance. And the cost of fuel to travel that distance would have been phenomenal. Did someone fund this? And if so, it doesn't appear that there's any sort of money trail as yet. Now, I realise there's information that the FBI and the Sheriff's Office are not going to give us, because this is definitely such a crucial case where they have to tread carefully. But the fact that they are asking the public for help suggests to me that there's a lot of gaps here that need to be filled. So it's not like there appears to be a record of communication between Ashley and somebody. Sounds like they haven't identified any secondary parties at this point in time. Or if they have, they haven't solidified the link. But this case is just so odd, and I really, really hope that they manage to find this girl. And I have to say, I think the big question that a lot of people are probably asking is, why hasn't she been taken in for a mental health assessment? I mean, this woman has rented a car, driven across the country with her 9-year-old daughter. I mean, 9, she's still a baby. She's driven all the way to Nebraska, turned around, started heading back, and somewhere on the way back has left her daughter somewhere. What happened? Where is this child? I will do my best to keep people updated on this case. I do struggle because of my inability to go live, because I've only got an iPad. So it means finding the time to go through all the information that's been released, put it together into something cohesive that I can share with people, and then creating the video. So sometimes it is hard for me to keep up with the other cases that I'm looking at. There will be an update on little Leo Escalante coming soon. The biggest thing with that at the moment is that the father of the man who has allegedly ended Leo has waived his right to a speedy trial now. So he's not in court now until December. So for those of you who do follow my other cases, just a quick rundown. With Phoebe Bishop, the Queensland girl who went missing around about the 15th of May and her remains were found a few weeks later, the two main individuals, James Wood and Tanika Bromley, appeared in court yesterday. I haven't had a chance to look that up yet, but knowing how the Australian court system works, I'm willing to predict that there's been delays with that. In terms of Mittenhauser, the guy that sort of came in as an extra on the end and was basically creating confusion over the case, I believe his next hearing is not until December 15th. With Leo Escalante, I'll do a quick update sometime in the next couple of days anyway, but both James van der Leest and David van der Leest have motions hearings on the 1st of December, and David van der Leest has a bail modification hearing on the 17th of November. He's the father of the guy responsible for what happened to Leo. With the case of Jaden Spicer, we have Joshua and Felicia Gross in court again on November the 7th. Then with the Sarah Grace Patrick case, which is the TikTok girl, she's in court on the 5th of January, which I believe is when her trial starts. There's also the Dale Warner case, which a lot of you may not have heard of because I've only done one video on that, and that was quite some time ago when Dale was arrested. He claimed that she had left him and gone to live on some paradise island somewhere, and then they found her remains on his property welded into a tank, probably about 12 months ago maybe. So he is up for trial on the 27th of January. Another Australian case, which many of you probably won't have heard of because I haven't spoken about it in a very long time, and that is the Samantha Murphy case. That is from Ballarat, which is a few hours away from where I am here in Victoria. Samantha Murphy went jogging back in February of last year and went missing while she was out jogging. A few months later, a young man who was 22 at the time, by the name of Patrick Stevenson, was arrested for making Samantha not alive. So he goes to trial on the 8th of April. So there's quite a lot of things coming up. Now, as you know, I don't normally do live streams, but I will put together a quick summary of all these cases and do a live stream for you in the near future. Now, as you know, I can't share my screen when I'm doing that, so it'll be just a boring screen. But I will try and wangle it so that I can organise that with my moderators, and I will do it as a live stream for everyone. Maybe I'll do a premiere. If I do it as a premiere, then I can at least create the video beforehand, and then you're not staring at a boring screen. So I'll do it that way. I will do a premiere where I just do a rundown of all the other cases that I've been looking at, all the ones that have got trial dates or case updates coming up, just to bring you up to speed. I had kind of hoped to have managed to buy a MacBook before all these cases started going to trial so that I could do live streams on them, but life happens, doesn't it? I'll try and make a goal of having my MacBook by January so that I can at least cover the Sarah Grace Patrick trial, because I think that one is going to be very interesting. There's a lot of serious nastiness going on behind the scenes there, which is why at this point in time I'm not touching that case with a 10-foot barge pole. I will start covering it again when it goes to court. And to be honest, there's really not much happening there anyway, because basically it's just a lot of bickering between two sides of the family. Now, I just want to point out that when I do cover cases like Melodee's and Leo's, I don't get quite the same audience that I do when I'm talking about Jack and Lily. And there is a Jack and Lily video that I've uploaded and it's ready to be released. But I think I will put this one out first, and I will put Jack and Lily's out tomorrow morning for me, which would be in the evening for Canadians, just to space it out a little bit. But in terms of this video, you can help me out by hitting the like button so that it gets out into the algorithm. You can also help me out by subscribing if you are new to my channel and you've just come on here because I'm covering Melodee's case. And you can also help me out by leaving a comment below, even if it's just putting a little love heart in there for Melodee. Let's hope that this little girl can be found and put in a safe home somewhere. So on that note, thanks for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.
I've been